Sharp Game here, coming at you from ChooseYourRelationships.com. And in this video, I'm going to talk about South Korea and my experiences being there. And keep in mind that I visited Korea almost 10 times, and I was in the Navy for a couple years, and I've traveled that area a lot over the past 16 years. So this is not somebody that haven't had the experience. When I speak, I'm talking about my experience in Korea, not somebody that's just taking a story or what I've been told by somebody else. I've actually visited Seoul and Busan. And Seoul is the capital of South Korea, and Busan is a smaller town on the coast of South Korea. And I would say I'll never go back to South Korea again. I mean, this is probably my worst experience that I've ever had visiting anywhere in the world. And we didn't get briefed that well about South Korea, because if you've been in the Navy, you know that before you pull into any port, any country, they usually give you a briefing about where to go, what not to go, what schemes to watch out for, and so on. But I can personally admit that I got caught off guard, because it was some things in South Korea I just wasn't ready for, and personally I just never seen before. I'm not saying that these types of events and images don't happen in the U.S., because they have happened in the U.S. But I just haven't seen them. And if you go to South Korea or any other country, you have to realize that they don't follow the status quo like they do in America. So, you gotta be aware of some shit that you might hear people say, and some images that you might see. You might not be ready for it. So, just be aware of that. But if you go on the Google, and if you click on images, this is some of the stuff you're gonna see in South Korea. Like, they got the guy in the blackface. Now, they used to use these events. This is more like a skit. They have these skits in South Korea to this day, but they used to use these type of skits in America. They used to make fun of black people and blackface. This is what white comedians used to use to make fun of black people. And in South Korea to this day, they're doing the same thing. Now, some black people might see these type of events going on and these images while they're walking down the street or doing whatever they do. They might not be aware of what's going on or where it came from or what it's all about. But I knew what it was all about, and they're doing it to make fun of black people and to make money. And see, white people, the average white person, know what this is all about. So to them, it's funny. So the Koreans are entertaining mainly white people, and a lot of Koreans, they have the mentality of a lot of white people. And which has a lot to do with the way they behave, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. So you have it's more images like this. You're gonna see these blackface images everywhere if you go to South Korea. And when I say images, I'm talking about they have billboards of pictures like this. That's the thing. And as far as the socially, most Koreans don't like black people. This is across the board. Now, if you're a white guy, you're in. And they treat you like Jesus Christ himself, especially if you got blonde hair and blue eyes. But, I mean, it is always an exception to the rule. If you're a celebrity or you're somebody of high status or something like that, if you're a black person. But for the most part, most Korean people hate blacks. I mean, they don't dislike black. They hate blacks. So, see, when I found this out, I said, they're just like most white people. Most white people hate blacks too. Don't have any empathy for blacks. And a lot of them wish a lot of black people didn't exist. So what happened is the Koreans have been brainwashed by the images that they see on television. And plus, you got to keep in mind, there's white people in South Korea as well. And the white people that's living in South Korea, if you was to meet any white people that's from the U.S. or the U.K. or wherever they're from, I can almost guarantee you that they're having a great experience. They're having the time of their lives. I'll put money on it. The average white person is having the time of their lives. When it's time for them to leave, if they leave, they're not gonna want to leave. They aren't gonna want to go back where they came from. However, if you talk to the average black person that's in South Korea, their experience is going to be totally different, guaranteed. And there's always exceptions to the rules, just like it says, because in South Korea, you have some Korean men, they'll date an African American woman if she's attractive and slim, or if she fits the prototype that he sees within the mainstream media. So they'll date a black woman. The Korean guys, they'll do it. But when it comes to the black males, when it comes to the Korean women, that's a different story. Because they hate black males. We're the most hated motherfuckers on the damn planet, especially in the United States of America. Now, there's always an exception to the rule, because you have some places like Japan, Australia, South America, all down South America, Mexico, then you got the islands. But when it comes to places like Korea, forget about it. I'm never going back there again. So if you're considering to take a job in South Korea, or thinking about maybe being transferred there if you're in the military or something like that, if you're a black person, I think you should reconsider that. But if you're married and your wife is Korean, or that's, I get it. That's a different story, different situation. But if you're married and your wife is black and your kids is black, I say don't even waste your time. Get orders and go somewhere else. But if you're thinking about taking a teacher's job in South Korea, like a lot of people do, if you're a black person, I say don't do it. And if you do decide to do it, you better have thick skin, because you're gonna need it. Because just like I said, in Korea, they don't follow the status quo. A lot of the racism is institutionalized, and socially, people say exactly what's on their mind. They don't. I mean, they say exactly what's on their mind, and they do what they want because there's no consequences. They can get away with it. In America, you can't get away with as much racial bias and saying what you want to say as much as you used to. Because if you start talking some crazy shit at work, start calling people names, you could get fired. So, but in Korea, they don't have to deal with that. They do exactly what they want to do. And there's no, even if you go certain situations, I've heard people talk about when they work jobs around a lot of Korean people, and if maybe a few words get exchanged, and when they tell the supervisor what happened, nothing gets done, and usually they end up getting fired. So you just got to be aware of that. And even if you, as a black male, have a lot of charm, charisma, you talk good, you carry yourself in an elegant manner, and even if you do get play in from a lot of the Korean women, the Korean guys are very territorial. They'll get jealous of you. So don't tell them what the hell you're up to, because they have the mindset of the average white guy. They want you to not have shit. Period. They want to fuck your woman, but they don't want you to touch nothing. So it's kind of like having a toy. They like the toy. They want your toys, but you can't have theirs. And that's that bullshit. Because I've met a lot of people over the years, a lot of Korean guys, and they have that mindset. It's like whenever they see you with a beautiful girl, they're trying to figure out how you did it and why you did it. But when they can do what they want, and it's okay, and it's a lot of that's that status quo bullshit and that double standard bullshit that I don't buy into. And in some countries, and Korea happens to be one of them, they take that shit to the next level. But they don't follow the status quo. They just come out and say what the hell they want to say. So this is just something to think about before you decide to visit or move to Korea. So if you like what you heard in this video, subscribe to my channel. Check out my website, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, Sharp Game is out.